Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back, it's Jordan here. Today we're going to continue working on the Lego City. We're going to start by doing some work here in the harbor. Looks pretty good, but it could be a lot better because there's a lot of exposed studs right here. Yeah, I much prefer the tile and G-slope look, so today we're going to take care of that just because it's got to get down here. It takes quite a bit of time, like each plate takes about an hour to build, but it's definitely going to be worth it. Even though we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 plates or something like that, plus all of this plate work in here and all this plate work in here. So many tiles have got to be laid, and I think that's why we've been procrastinating about this project, but we got to try and take care of it today. So this is what it looks like right now. I'm excited to see what it looks like after. It's funny, I actually filmed the intro for this video right after finishing the base construction for the next section of the large green hill, and when I was doing that, I ran out of 2x4 bricks, and I found myself at West Edmonton Mall this morning, so I stopped by the Lego store, picked up some 2x4 bricks, and then also some other parts that I need for that hill project, such as the corner plates and also some green slopes. So there you go, packed a quick 5 boxes, got a free GWP, and now I'm on my way back to the studio. After getting back from the Pebble, I decided to do an experiment because I wanted to know if it's worth my while loading these boxes because I spend so much time loading them. So the ones that I did with the 2x4 bricks, what I do is I actually put plates on top. So you can see I've got 10 studs of plate there. I've got 4x plate and 6x plate, and those are 2 plates thick. And then in the face of the box here, you can actually fit another row of bricks, but I just decided to put a stack of plates there that are 3 plates tall. So you get a bunch of plate, and then you also get all of the green brick within. In addition to that, there's 19 of the 2x2 bricks, and then these stacks of green brick, which are also 19 bricks tall, there are 7 of them. So it's like, okay, what if I go through and I add up all of these pieces and I compare it to the Lego Pick-a-Brick online? So grand total, we have 133 of the green bricks. They sell those for 27 cents Canadian on their website. That would amount to $35.91 just for these if you were to buy them from lego.com. $35.91. And I got all of that plus this in a box that cost me 22 Canadian dollars. The 19 2x2 bricks would cost 17 cents each, which is $3.23. And then we've got a grand total of 25 of the 4x6 plates, which cost 52 cents on lego.com. That's a grand total of $13 there. And then there's some other miscellaneous stuff such as the 4x4s, the 2x4s, and also the 2x6s. Grand total for all of these parts, if I were to order them online, is a flabbergasting $56.30. That is madness. And I fit them all into a box that cost $22. Sure, I've got to pack them all, but still, that's crazy, the price comparison from the wall to the website. And of course, you could order them from bricklink.com and try and find them from sellers which sell them a lot cheaper, and that's commonly what I do just because it takes time to pack these boxes, although the 2x4 stuff packs a lot quicker than, say, 1x2s. And you can order them from Bricklink, and you can do all that to try and save costs, and I do that. And you can order them from Lego online, which is outrageously expensive, or you can get them from the pad wall. What I do like about Lego is the fact that you get the GWP, and you can also get your VIP points, which can be redeemed later on. But buying parts from lego.com, oh my gosh, like some of it is just a little bit overwhelming. Unless it's like stuff that's hard to find on Bricklink, like tiles. Tiles are a great value. A lot of the vegetation is great value as well. And doing the price comparison, like shopping between all the different parties, like all the different websites and stuff, can take time as well. But yeah, it's crazy. I love going to the pad wall, loading up, because obviously it's a tremendous value. So we got all the 2x4 bricks, we got some plates, and then I also got some of the corner plates and some more brick in here as well. But yeah, I just was curious to know the price comparison from online to Pab. Once again, $22 box, $56.30 with the parts within it. Not bad at all. I really shouldn't be bashing Pab online, should I? While I was at the Lego store packing boxes, Simon was working on texturing the water. So you got the cheese slopes, the 1x4 tiles, there's black, dark, blue, and blue underneath that, just to give it some depth. Like look, that's the blue color, then you get some black and dark blue, so it looks good because you got different depths, and I just love the way the light shimmers off the cheese slopes. So you've got 1 plate, 2, 3, 4, and working on a 5th plate right there. We've already ran into an issue. This is all the dark trans blue 1x4 tiles that we have left. And this is all the cheese slopes that we have left. I thought I had a ton, and believe me, I did have a ton, like a freezer bag full of each, and we've already consumed most of it. So I don't know if there's gonna be enough parts to finish the deep sea, which is unfortunate. This was at the pad wall this morning, and I don't know, I can't recall if they had those 2 part types on there. So I might have to wait another week because I refuse to order these on Bricklink or Lego.com because it's just way cheaper to get them from the pad wall. So I might have to wait another week or 2 before actually finishing this project, but we're gonna get done whatever we can get done with the parts we have. While I was at the Lego store, I was so concentrated on buying green parts for the massive green hill project that I completely forgot to look for those dark trans blue elements. That's because I thought we had enough. And honestly, like 2 weeks ago when I was there, they had both of them in mass quantity and I didn't get them. What's wrong with me? I thought we had enough, but look, it looks so good. And the plates that he's working on up there right now are gonna go right here. So that's gonna fill in all this space and also the spot in front of the boat launch. And then we should have enough parts there to hopefully get these 2 plates done as well. And a plate that I wanna work on is actually this one that has the lighthouse. A lot of people have been telling me to connect this rock cove that I've built to the lighthouse, but I sort of like the gap there. The lighthouse actually comes with like a little boat, and I think it just makes sense to have a little boat go here, go to the harbor. I don't think it makes sense to connect these rocks. I mean, it would be a pretty easy modification to make, but I don't know. I think it looks better as its own separate entity. Either way, I think it looks great. But what I need to do is peel off all these tiles here and actually build like a transition because it's dark and light trans blue here, it's dark trans blue over there, it's dark over here, this is light. So I need to peel off all the tiles and then I need to make it sort of like a transitional plate. So it's cool that it's a lighthouse and it also transitions from the shallower water into the darker water of the deep sea. I cannot express to you how much I like this water texturing. It just looks so cool. We just placed these plates here and also the plate in front of the boat launch. Simon's working on the next 2 plates over here to finish the foreground. And then we just have to work on the stuff where the boats are actually parked. Just working on the face of the city, right? Got to get this looking awesome. I think this water looks awesome over here. The beach is looking pretty good. It still needs a little bit of work. The boat yard and the harbor and the train yard, that still needs a lot of work, but at least the water is coming together now as well. And look at this. I did the blending around the lighthouse here, so it's all blent in. We've got some light trans blue mixed in with the dark trans blues, just so it matches up with the feel over here. And that's the same with the front of the lighthouse as well. And then I'm starting to do some of the light trans blue blending along these rocks here. And then I'll fill in the remaining space with the dark blue cheese slopes and 1x4 tiles. It's just coming together. It takes a lot of time and a lot of labor and a lot of parts, but it's totally worth it in the end. It looks fantastic. Also, you'll note that the boat launch, before the bottom parts that were holding this ramp in were sort of exposed when I just had a base plate there, but now that we added a plate and the tiles, it blends it in nicely. So believe it or not, this is just over 15 32 by 32 base plates fully tiled off. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. I guess the lighthouse doesn't really count, but then we have some additional plating and tiling over there. Yeah, that looks good right up against the rocks. I love that. Now, unfortunately, like mentioned, we did run out of parts. I phoned the Lego store. They have some cheese slopes, but they don't have the 1x4 tiles. You can't really do the cheese slopes first. The cheese slopes have to come in second because they fill in all the gaps that remain after the 1x4 tiles come in. I do have the plates, so we can fully plate it off. You can see that one there is plated off. And then in here, these are not plated off. But next time Simon's here, I'm going to get him to do that, just because I feel like I can do something different with my time, like plan the next big Lego City project. And I think the next big Lego City project that I'm going to take on is actually going to be the train yard. I've got a bunch of ballast track upstairs, and I'm thinking I should probably mills plate all of these 48 by 48 plates using probably green, probably all like the breakable green that I have upstairs. I've got 4,000 breakable green plates, so I'll probably use those in the train yard. And then I'll start laying out the ballast track and also do all the underlying tile, which will go underneath the ballast track. What is this boat doing up here? What is that, Aldridge Killian, I believe, or something like that, from Iron Man 3? That's the Iron Man 3 boat. Here's my stack of ballast curves, all of which have to be repaired. So I'll go through my parts inventory and try and repair these as best I can. Should have all the parts in theory because they were complete tracks once upon a time. Should have enough to create a pretty cool train yard there, and I hope I have enough straights as well. If I don't, then I can go ahead and try and build some more out of my inventory as well. Now I managed to keep these intact somehow. I didn't part them out, even though all those valuable tiles were staring me down in the face there. So I've got the tiles there, and I've got some green plate here on these 48 by 48s, extremely dusty. And I also have this here. This is what the tile job looks like underneath a curved track. So it'll look like that. So my plan is to fully mills plate the train yard, do all the underlying tile work, and then I can try and get some lines going at angles. And if lines are going at angles, that would look pretty cool, I think, especially if they were like straights like that. But in order to do that, in my opinion, you need to have a bunch of tile underneath the track to make it look cool. So yeah, I think mills plating all those 48 by 48s with the green color as a base will be good, and then I can start to tile it off and I can start adding all of that ballast track. Thankfully, I have all the ballast track ready to go because I know I bring up part consumption a lot. Those consume a lot of pieces. I actually built those ballast tracks like a long time ago when I originally started ballasting my track way back in like the old layout. I'm talking like the old layout. So I was thinking to myself, not much more I can do with the water right now other than the underlying plate, because I don't have the tiles and the cheese slopes. But there is something that I can do in this cove here. I've been meaning to improve the look of this cove for a while. So what I'm going to do is just add some more rock detail, because the rocks look good, but they can always look better. So let's take care of that. So I hauled these plates upstairs just because it's a little bit easier to work on. You don't have to stretch and reach over the Lego City, plus all the parts are up here as well. So I gather some 1x1 plates, curved slopes, cheese slopes, vegetation, and just the regular dark bluish gray slopes as well. So right now there's a lot of exposed studs on top of the gray rock work. So what I'm doing is just taking off a lot of the detail work that I put on the top, and I'm actually increasing the height, because of course if you add more slopes to the top of the rock work, well, I have all those exposed studs, it's going to help reduce the amount of studs in general. And it's going to help increase the height of the rock work as well, because honestly I just think it's a little bit too short. Once I get that additional layer of slopes added, I'm able to go through and fill in some of those studs with some of the 1x1 flower elements in a few different shades of green, the plates, and also the curved slopes. And sometimes I put some of the green curved slopes over top of like a little leaf or some of the flower elements, and then I can pair up with a curved slope with a plate and cheese slope, and just sort of make different textures and reduce the amount of studs. That's my goal here. Let's reduce the amount of studs and try to improve the look of this rock work. Another way that you could do this is you could use snot bricks, and you could mount curved slopes sideways. Well, technically studs not on top is a building technique, but I just call them snot bricks. It's the ones with the forward facing studs, but you can use those, and then you can put like curved slopes and slopes on to that. But unfortunately I just don't have enough of those in my inventory to experiment with rock work at this time. I've got a bunch of these part varieties though that I've cycled through so many builds, and a lot of them are just like parted out right now, so why not use more of them to try and improve the look of these rocks. Here's a picture of this cove before I added all the detail and after, so I think my goal of reducing all of the studs was definitely achieved. I'm really happy with my decision to upgrade this rock work in the cove here. It just looks so much better. You know, there was a lot of exposed studs on it, so by raising it up, I reduced the amount of studs because I used slopes, and then I reduced the amount of studs further by adding more vegetation, also the light and dark tan, and more light gray as well. The curved slopes and the cheese slopes look really good on the rocks. Now, ideally, I would like to use some 1x2 light gray slopes, but I am out of those, so that's why the primary color that I use is dark gray. But I think that looks much, much better than it looked at the beginning of this video. And you know, I still need to get more of the swimsuit minifigures as well, because I want to create more stories here in the water. I think they add a nice pop of color to the very colorful water already. It's funny to think how many different color shades go into the water, because there's the underlying plate that use various colors, and then there's also the two different transparent colors of tiles that we use up top as well. I've docked this boat right there, and I've also added a boat being launched into the deep sea there, shifted some of these boats around as well, and I'm excited about getting the remaining parts so I can finish off the water detail, because then I can classify the water as being done. I'm telling you, it has probably been a week of labor just for adding the details to the water. Like, I know it's been spread out, you know, ever since the creation of this city has started, but just to get all of this water detail here has taken probably a week of straight labor, which is pretty wild to think, but I think it's totally worth it in the end. Oh, I need to update this cove here as well. Look at the difference. You got all this exposed studs and some curved slopes and stuff. And then we've got this over here, just substantially better. Yeah, so I'll have to upgrade that cove over there relatively soon as well. I'll probably do that when I start placing the minifigures and start adding details to this area of the city, which is pretty much ready to go. Like, I can start adding minifigures and stories to this boardwalk straight away, and then I can make this cove better and put some fishers on there and have people fishing off the little boardwalk along the water here as well, and just create more stories with minifigures, because that's where the fun is. Well, it's all fun. Don't get me wrong there. It's all fun, that's for sure. But I love this perspective here. I love the water. And specifically when we come up top here too, you can see the water. I don't know if I can walk backward up my stairs, but you can see like that foreground of the city. It looks pretty good. What I need to do is base plate the medieval scene, because that doesn't look good. And if it was colorful, if it was like the green perimeter and the blue perimeter and the green interior, then it would look better than what it looks like right now. It sort of takes away from this view of the city. But from up top, it looks really cool. Yeah. So the next thing I'm going to work on is the train yard, as I mentioned earlier in this video. And we're going to continue working on the water detail as well when those parts become available again. So we managed to detail more water plates and also upgrade the cove. That's really about it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please remember to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for some more great stuff. I'm going to continue to just look at this for a while before I go home.